The wind howled outside, rattling the loose window panes of the small, dimly lit room. A single candle flickered on the wooden table, its flame dancing like a restless spirit. Ryan sat in the corner, his eyes fixed on the worn-out floorboards, his fingers tracing invisible patterns on his knee. He had learned long ago that words often did more harm than good. Silence, on the other hand, held a strange kind of power. He had been quiet for days now, listening, observing. The world around him moved at its own chaotic pace. People rushing, arguing, laughing, crying. But he remained still, unseen, unnoticed. At first it had been difficult. He had wanted to speak, to explain, to defend himself. But something told him to stay silent, to wait. Across the room, an old clock ticked steadily, each second stretching out longer than the last. The tension in the air was thick, pressing against his chest. He could feel it. Something was coming. Something was changing. His mind drifted back to the last conversation he had before he chose silence. It had been with Emma, the only person who seemed to truly understand him. "You don't always have to fight back," she had said softly, her eyes filled with something he couldn't quite name. "Sometimes when you stop chasing answers, they come to you on their own." At the time, he hadn't fully grasped what she meant. But now, as he sat alone in the quiet of his own thoughts, he felt something stirring deep inside him. A realization, perhaps. A truth waiting to reveal itself. Outside, the distant sound of footsteps echoed through the empty street. A shadow passed by the window, pausing for just a moment before disappearing into the night. Ryan tensed. Was it them? Had they finally found him? He held his breath, listening. The candle flickered again, casting strange, shifting shapes on the walls. He could almost hear Emma's voice in his head, reminding him to trust the silence, to let it guide him. And so he waited, motionless, as the world continued on without him. Whatever was coming, he was ready. Or so he thought. Ryan stayed frozen, barely breathing, his pulse hammering in his ears. The shadow outside had moved quickly, too quickly. It could have been just a stranger passing through, someone on their way home, but something in his gut told him otherwise. The way the figure had stopped, even for that brief second, felt intentional. Like they knew he was in there. Like they were waiting for him to make a mistake. The candle's glow barely reached the edges of the room, leaving dark pockets where anything or anyone could be hiding. Ryan's gaze darted to the door. It was locked, but locks could only do so much. He had seen that firsthand. He had seen doors forced open, seen how little it took for someone determined enough to break through. A gust of wind pushed against the window again, and the old wooden frame groaned in protest. Ryan swallowed hard, forcing himself to stay calm. He couldn't afford to panic. He needed to think. The last time he had let his guard down, everything had gone wrong. It had started with a simple conversation, just a few words exchanged in passing. He hadn't thought much of it at the time, but now, looking back, he saw the warning signs he had missed. The way people hesitated before speaking. The way their eyes darted away too quickly. The feeling that something was being kept from him, something important. And then the disappearance. Emma had been the first to notice it. She had whispered to him one night, her voice barely louder than the wind outside. "Have you realized?" She had asked, her fingers gripping the edge of the table. "People are vanishing, quietly, like they were never here at all." Ryan had shrugged it off then. People left all the time. They moved, they changed, they disappeared into their own lives. But Emma had shaken her head, her expression tight. "No, this is different." It wasn't until it happened to someone he knew, someone close, that he started paying attention. James. The last time Ryan had seen him, he had been standing right there, in this very room. He had been nervous, fidgety, his voice low as he spoke. "Something is wrong," James had muttered. "I don't know what it is, but it's everywhere. I hear things at night, footsteps where there shouldn't be any, whispers in places that are supposed to be empty." Ryan had wanted to brush it off, to tell James he was overthinking things. But then James had gone silent, his face pale. "They listen," he had said, his voice barely above a breath. "They always listen." And then, just like that, he was gone. No one talked about it. When Ryan had asked, he had been met with blank stares, like James had never existed. Like his absence was nothing more than an empty space that no one wanted to acknowledge. That was when Ryan had stopped talking. That was when he had started listening instead. The more he stayed silent, the more he noticed. Strange things, unspoken things, people glancing over their shoulders, conversations that cut off the moment he entered the room. A presence always just out of sight, lurking on the edges of his awareness. And now the shadow outside. Ryan let out a slow breath, forcing his muscles to relax, even though his instincts screamed at him to run. Running wouldn't help. Not yet. He needed to understand what was happening first. He needed to know what he was up against. The candle wavered again, casting long, twisting shadows on the walls. A memory surfaced, one he had pushed away before. A warning given in hushed tones. "Stay silent," James had said that night. "If you want to know the truth, don't ask for it. Just listen." Ryan had thought it was paranoia then. Now he wasn't so sure. Outside, the wind carried the sound of footsteps again. Slow this time. Measured. As if whoever was out there wasn't in a hurry. As if they already knew they had time. Ryan clenched his fists. He had been waiting for answers, and maybe, just maybe, they were finally coming to him. Ryan's heart pounded as he listened. The footsteps outside had stopped. Silence settled again, thick and heavy, pressing in on him from all sides. Whoever was out there wasn't in a hurry to leave. They were waiting. Watching. He forced himself to think. He couldn't stay trapped in this room forever. He needed to know what was happening. He needed to understand why people were disappearing. Why James had been so afraid. Why Emma had warned him to stop searching for answers. Emma. Ryan hadn't seen her in days. She had been the only one who seemed to notice what was happening. The only one who had tried to warn him before everything had unraveled. Their last conversation played in his mind. "Ryan, listen to me," she had whispered that night, her hand gripping his arm so tightly it hurt. "Something is happening to the people who ask too many questions. You have to stop looking for answers." But Ryan hadn't stopped. He couldn't. And now she was gone too. His stomach twisted at the thought. Was she still out there somewhere? Was she hiding, just like he was? Or had she been erased like James, her existence wiped clean, as if she had never been there at all? Ryan clenched his jaw. He needed to find her. The candle on the table flickered again, the flame shrinking, barely clinging to life. The darkness in the room seemed to press closer, swallowing up the faint glow. Ryan felt a strange chill run down his spine. He wasn't alone. Not physically. He could see the empty room around him. But something else was there, lurking just beneath the surface. A presence. A feeling. A memory surfaced. James, his voice trembling as he spoke. "They don't want us to see them," he had whispered. "But they're always watching." Ryan's breath hitched. What if James had been right? What if there was something here, something he couldn't see? The thought sent a shiver through him, but he forced himself to stay still, to keep listening. He had learned that the truth only revealed itself in silence. The room felt colder now, the air heavier, Outside, the wind had died down, leaving an eerie stillness in its place. The world felt different, like something had shifted in a way he couldn't explain. And then the noise came. It wasn't loud, not scratch, scratch. A steady rhythm, unhurried. Ryan's pulse raced. He forced himself to move, to push away from the chair, his footsteps light against the floor. He pressed his ear against the wall, listening. The sound was closer now, just on the other side. He swallowed hard. There was no other room back there. No hallway, no passage, just solid wood and brick. And yet, the scratching grew louder, more urgent. Ryan's hands clenched into fists. He could leave. He could run. But something inside him told him that if he left now, he would never understand what was really happening. So he stayed. He waited. And then, just as suddenly as it had started, the scratching stopped. The silence that followed was worse. It stretched on too long, pressing against his eardrums, making his skin crawl. Ryan pulled away from the wall, his breath shallow. Something had changed. He could feel it. At first, a faint scratching sound, barely audible, coming from the wall behind him. Slow, deliberate. Like something or someone was trying to get through. Ryan's breath came faster now, his muscles tense. He turned his head slightly, just enough to glance at the wall. There was nothing there, just the same worn wooden panels, the same cracks and faded paint. But the sound continued. He turned, scanning the room, expecting something, anything, to be different. But everything was exactly as it had been. The candle still burned low, the furniture remained untouched. And yet the feeling in the air was wrong. Like he was being watched. His eyes flickered to the window. The shadow was gone. The street outside was empty, as if no one had ever been there. But Ryan knew better. They had been there, and they had been waiting for something. A slow realization crept in. They weren't trying to get in. They were waiting for him to come out. Ryan's pulse pounded in his ears. He wasn't trapped in here with them. They were out there waiting for him. And sooner or later, he would have to face them. Ryan's breath was shallow, his ears straining for any sound beyond the silence. The candle had burned low, its light barely touching the edges of the room. Shadows stretched and curled along the walls, shifting as if something unseen moved within them. He fought the instinct to run. If they were out there, if they were waiting for him, then stepping outside without a plan would be the worst mistake he could make. But how long could he wait? The scratching had stopped, but the feeling hadn't. The air was still thick, charged, like a storm was about to break. Every muscle in his body was tight, ready to react, but to what? What was he even up against? He turned toward the window again. The street outside was empty, the darkness pressing against the glass like a solid thing. His fingers twitched at his side. He knew better than to believe the emptiness. Just because he couldn't see them didn't mean they weren't there. Ryan closed his eyes, focusing, trying to listen beyond the silence. At first there was nothing, just the sound of his own heartbeat, too fast, too loud. Then something, faint, almost imperceptible, a breath. Not his own. His eyes snapped open. It was inside. The realization sent a jolt of panic through him. His mind raced, but his body stayed frozen, locked in place by the sheer rawness of it. The candle flickered violently, the flame twisting, almost going out. And in that brief moment, in the dim light, he saw it. A shape. Not quite solid, not quite shadow. Just there, in the corner of the room. Watching. Ryan's throat tightened. He wanted to move, to run, to do anything but stand there, but his body refused. His instincts screamed at him to make a sound, to break the silence, but a deeper part of him knew knew that if he did, everything would change. The presence didn't move. It just stood there like it was waiting for him to understand. A memory surged forward, unbidden, Emma's last words to him before she disappeared. If you stop fighting, if you just listen, you'll hear it. The truth. Ryan's pulse hammered. What truth? What was he supposed to hear? He forced himself to breathe, to slow his thoughts. He had spent so long trying to find answers, trying to understand why people were vanishing, why James had warned him, why Emma had begged him to stop. But maybe that had been the mistake all along. Maybe the truth wasn't something he could chase. Maybe it was something that had been here all along, waiting for him to be still enough to hear it. The shape in the corner didn't move, but the air around it did, shifting, pulsing. The silence deepened, growing heavier, pressing against his ears like something tangible. Then, a whisper. Not a voice, not words, just a sound. Faint, almost too soft to notice, like the rustling of leaves in the distance. It wasn't coming from the shape. It was everywhere. Around him, beneath him, inside him. Ryan felt a sharp pull in his chest, like something was unraveling inside him, something he had locked away without realizing. A deep knowing, something he had been trying to ignore. The candle sputtered, its flame shrinking to almost nothing. The whisper grew louder, and Ryan finally understood. It wasn't them who had been waiting for him. It was the truth itself. And now it was here. The whisper wrapped around Ryan like a thread being pulled too tight. His vision blurred for a second, the edges of the room warping as if the walls were breathing. The shape in the corner remained still, watching, waiting. Then something shifted. The whisper fractured, splitting into multiple layers of sound. It wasn't just one voice. It was many, overlapping, bleeding into each other. Some were distant, barely more than echoes. Others felt closer, like breath against the back of his neck. Ryan's knees locked. The sound wasn't coming from outside. It wasn't even coming from the room. It was coming from him. The realization sent a cold shudder down his spine. He had spent so much time trying to listen to the world around him, trying to find the truth in the silence. But what if it had never been out there? What if the thing he was searching for had been buried inside him all along? The whisper grew stronger. A low hum vibrated in his chest, like something inside him was waking up. Then, a word. Soft, stretched thin, barely formed, but clear enough to freeze the air in his lungs. Asterisk, asterisk, run asterisk, asterisk. Ryan's breath hitched. His body reacted before his mind could catch up, his feet stumbling back, nearly knocking over the table. The candle finally gave out, leaving him in complete darkness. And then he wasn't alone. The presence that had been watching, waiting, it moved. Not toward him, but asterisk asterisk into asterisk asterisk him. A crushing weight pressed against his chest, forcing him to his knees. His vision blurred, flashing images that weren't his own. A door, half open, a hand reaching out, a face hidden in shadow. Emma. She wasn't gone. She had been here the whole time. Ryan gasped as the pressure in his chest tightened, his hands clawing at the floor. The whispers inside him swelled, a chaotic storm of voices all speaking at once. They weren't warning him anymore. They were trying to asterisk asterisk become asterisk asterisk him. Panic surged through him. He forced his head up, his breath ragged. The room was spinning, but through the haze, through the thick, suffocating dark. He saw it. Not the shadow. Not the thing that had been standing in the corner. Something asterisk asterisk worse asterisk asterisk. The room wasn't empty. It had never been. The walls, asterisk asterisk, they weren't walls at all asterisk asterisk. They were people. Pressed together, their bodies woven into the very structure of the room. Faces barely visible beneath the surface, mouths open in silent screams. Eyes darting, shifting, following his every move. His stomach twisted. He had been trapped in something he didn't understand, something far older, far deeper than just disappearances. And now it wanted asterisk asterisk him asterisk asterisk too. The whispers grew frantic, overlapping, suffocating. The walls pulsed. The shape that had been inside him, Emma's presence, fought against whatever was pulling him under. For the first time, Ryan realized the truth. Emma hadn't disappeared. She had been asterisk asterisk taken asterisk asterisk, and unless he found a way out, he would be next. Ryan's pulse pounded as the room closed in around him. The whispers inside him clashed with the silent screams trapped in the walls. He could feel them reaching for him, their desperation pulling at his skin, trying to make him one of them. The presence, Emma's presence, was still there, pushing back, trying to keep him from sinking any further. Then for the first time, he asterisk asterisk spoke asterisk asterisk. Emma. The moment her name left his lips, everything asterisk asterisk stopped asterisk asterisk. The whispers cut off. The air went still. Even the walls, those shifting, pulsing figures, froze in place. It was as if the entire room had been asterisk asterisk waiting asterisk asterisk for him to say it. A crack splintered through the darkness. Light, thin, barely more than a sliver, cut through the room like a knife. A door. It hadn't been there before, but now it was the only thing that existed. A way out. Ryan staggered to his feet. The moment he moved toward it, the walls came asterisk asterisk, alive asterisk asterisk again. The figures shifted, their silent screams twisting into something worse. Their hands stretched, their mouths opening wider, as if they were trying to asterisk asterisk pull him back in asterisk asterisk. But Emma was asterisk asterisk with him now asterisk asterisk. She had been fighting for him the whole time, holding on, keeping him from being swallowed like the others. Ryan didn't hesitate, he ran. Something asterisk asterisk grabbed his ankle asterisk asterisk. Cold, heavy, trying to drag him down. Emma's voice, clearer now. Asterisk asterisk shouted asterisk asterisk in his head. Asterisk don't stop asterisk. With every ounce of strength he had left, Ryan asterisk asterisk kicked free asterisk asterisk and threw himself toward the light. And then, asterisk asterisk silence asterisk asterisk. He was asterisk asterisk outside asterisk asterisk. The air was crisp, real. The street stretched in front of him, quiet, unchanged. The sky above was untouched by whatever had been in that room. He turned back. The door was asterisk asterisk gone asterisk asterisk. The building itself, a place he had been trapped in for so long, was no longer there. Just an empty lot, overgrown and forgotten. Had it ever really existed? Ryan's breathing was uneven, his hands still shaking. He felt asterisk asterisk lighter asterisk asterisk, as if something had been pulled out of him. The whispers were asterisk asterisk gone asterisk asterisk. The weight pressing on his chest had vanished. But Emma, she wasn't beside him. His stomach twisted. He could still asterisk asterisk feel her asterisk asterisk, but she was no longer here. Not the way she had been before. A sharp wind swept through the empty lot, and with it a faint whisper, so soft he almost thought he imagined it. Asterisk, you made it. Asterisk. Ryan's eyes burned, but he didn't let himself look back again. He had survived. He had asterisk asterisk escaped asterisk asterisk. But Emma, she had asterisk asterisk saved him asterisk asterisk. and now she was part of whatever was still in there. Ryan stood motionless, staring at the empty lot where the building had once been. The cold air bit at his skin, but he barely felt it. His heart was still pounding, his breath uneven, his mind struggling to process everything that had just happened. He had escaped. He was asterisk asterisk here asterisk asterisk. But Emma, she wasn't. The whisper still echoed in his mind. Underscore, you made it. Underscore soft, final. A voice that no longer belonged to this world. Ryan swallowed hard, forcing himself to accept the truth. She had saved him, fought for him, kept him from becoming another lost soul in that place. But in doing so, she had become part of it herself. The weight of that realization pressed against his chest. He wanted to go back, to try and pull her out the way she had done for him. But there was nothing left to go back asterisk asterisk to asterisk asterisk. The door was gone. The building was gone. And deep down, he knew it hadn't just disappeared. It had asterisk asterisk, never asterisk asterisk been there in the first place. His hands clenched into fists. The world around him felt too normal, too untouched by the horror he had just escaped. Cars hummed in the distance, streetlights flickered, a stray dog wandered down the sidewalk as if nothing had changed. But everything asterisk asterisk had asterisk asterisk changed. Ryan had spent so long searching for answers, trying to understand why people were disappearing, why James had been afraid, why Emma had tried to warn him. Now standing here, he finally asterisk asterisk understood asterisk asterisk. Some places weren't meant to be found. Some truths weren't meant to be uncovered. And some people, no matter how hard you fought, weren't meant to be saved. The thought sent a sharp pang through his chest, but he forced himself to move. Standing here wouldn't bring Emma back. Nothing would. He turned away from the empty lot, his step slow, his body still tense as if expecting something else to reach for him. But nothing did. The night remained still. The silence around him now was asterisk asterisk normal asterisk asterisk, the kind of quiet that belonged to a sleeping city, not the suffocating kind that had tried to consume him. It felt wrong, unfair, like he had just stepped back into a world that didn't even realize how close it had come to losing him. He walked for what felt like hours, aimless, lost in thought. His mind replayed everything that had happened, every moment leading up to that final second when he had run through the door. How had he even made it out? Why had the building let him go, but taken Emma? The questions gnawed at him, but there were no answers. And maybe that was the worst part. By the time he reached his apartment, the sky had started to lighten, hints of pale blue creeping in at the horizon. The world was waking up, carrying on like it always did. Ryan stood at his door, staring at the handle, hesitant. He had left this place searching for the truth. Now he was back with nothing but asterisk asterisk gloss asterisk asterisk. He stepped inside. The air smelled the same. His jacket was still draped over the chair where he had left it. A glass of water sat untouched on the counter. Nothing had changed, yet asterisk asterisk he asterisk asterisk had. The silence inside his apartment felt different now. It wasn't eerie, wasn't pressing in on him like it had in that room. But he still hesitated before closing the door, listening, waiting. Nothing. He let out a slow breath and locked it behind him. Exhaustion weighed down on him, but he knew sleep wouldn't come. Not after everything. He sat down on the couch, rubbing his hands over his face. His fingers were still shaking. He needed time, needed to process. But then, a soft noise. Not a whisper, not a voice, just a shift in the air. Ryan's body tensed. He turned his head slowly, scanning the room. Everything was the same. No shadows moving in the corners, no strange figures watching from the dark. And yet, the candle on his shelf flickered. It wasn't burning. It had been sitting there, untouched, since the night he left. But in that moment, the wax asterisk melted slightly asterisk, as if a flame had licked at it for just a second before vanishing. Ryan's breath caught in his throat. His skin prickled. It wasn't possible. But that neither was anything else that had happened. For a long time, he just sat there, staring at the candle, waiting for something else to happen. But nothing did. The apartment remained silent, still. Eventually, he leaned back against the couch, exhaling. Maybe it was just his mind playing tricks on him. Maybe he was seeing things that weren't there, hearing echoes of something that was asterisk already over asterisk. Or maybe asterisk, Emma wasn't completely gone asterisk. A small, almost bitter smile tugged at the corner of his lips. If she was still out there, somewhere, somehow, he had a feeling she wasn't done watching over him yet. And for the first time since escaping that place, he didn't feel so alone.